Hello and welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic. As you can tell, I'm in a little bit of a Dragon Ball mood. So for today's episode, I thought I'd be taking a look at the action figure of Master Roshi. But not just any Master Roshi, Buff Master Roshi. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this guy. Master Roshi, also known as the Turtle Hermit, is the ancient and wise martial arts master. He was responsible for training Goku's grandfather Gohan, as well as the Ox King, and then eventually Goku himself with his best friends Krillin and Yamcha. Master Roshi is over 300 years old, and although seeming frail, he is actually a mighty warrior. The world knows him for his great martial arts skill and prowess, where his friends also know about the more lecherous and perverted side of his personality. However, despite that, he is still respected by his students, and is still turned to for his advice and wisdom. He is also known as being the first one to wield the mighty Kamehameha wave, a move which he had created himself and took him 50 years to perfect. He first demonstrated this in the show when he gathered all the latent energy in his body to both power and bulk up to his maximum form, and used the Kamehameha wave to put out the fires of Flame Mountain. Okay, so here we have the Turtle Hermit himself, Master Roshi, in his most buffed and ripped form. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, this guy was a definite impulse buy for me. He was the only one up on the store shelves at the time when I purchased him, and I mean, it's Master Roshi in his most ripped, powerful form. How else could I pass that up? Also, I think because he was the only one I saw up on the shelf, that actually made me want to get him a lot more too. The other thing I'd like to talk about is if he didn't have the packaging, and I'm sorry I don't have the packaging anymore, it's one of those things, I think I had stopped keeping the boxes for these guys, and it was pretty generic anyways. Well, without that packaging, you could hardly tell that this was Master Roshi, and the only telltale signs are his trademark beard and sunglasses. Now, as you can see, he's in that snarled, kind of really, he's just really putting all of his energy into it type of face. Now, the glasses are actually molded on, they can't actually snap off, which is cool because he hardly ever took his glasses off, and they're so small that if they were removable, it probably would be something that could get lost in time. Now, his sculpt is actually pretty amazing. Well, I know I say that about everything, but I still think it's actually pretty cool. You got really bulgingly ripped muscles, and he's actually not in a super straight pose. If you can see, he's kind of leaning over to one side, so that gives a nice little bit of variation. He has some sort of little pose in here. Now, here's two little neat things, and this is actually, hopefully it's shown in the videos, is he actually has these little indentations on his back right here, and right down in here, there's these little dots. If you remember seeing saw the video, he had actually these little medicine patches on his back, and I can only assume those little dots are from acupuncture points. So that actually adds to, like, it is show accurate. They remember to add those details. Now, sadly, they never painted them, but anyone who is a real good customizer would want to, if they ever had this toy, they could just paint those little patches right on him. You can also see the little veins that are popped up around all over his muscles. You could really tell that a lot of power is going through there. Now, sadly, his articulation in this form is very limited. I mean, his elbow articulation is the only thing that has on this wrist and can't swivel around anywhere else. His arms can kind of rotate here. He has his head that can kind of go side to side, but his beard really gets in the way of that. Now, his arms, they are the kind of the worst part. They can swivel up and down, okay, and it looks like they can move out, but they don't really move out all that far. I mean, that's about as much as I can actually get out of these things. I can push them down in here, but they look like they'd have a lot more articulation, but his muscles are just so big, you can't really do too much with. I wouldn't say he's a really figure that you'd play with, but more something that you would actually put in a pose or want to have in some sort of nice action scene with all the other figures. Now, his legs, however, they actually do make up with a lot more articulation. Oh, I should also say he has a nice hip swivel articulation here, and his legs kind of bend out at this side area right here, so if he's wanting to sit down, his legs are going to be kind of spread out. I'm not going to go into any jokes about his personality on that one. Now, he does have these nice swivel thigh swivels right here, so you can kind of get him in these nice crouching poses, so it's like he's really ready to power up and kind of fight, or really getting ready to shoot off that Kamehameha. He has these knee articulation, and his legs can actually swivel around, so you can pose him around pretty decently like this. Now, I usually always keep him in the standard upright pose. I never really position him like this too much, just because he is really top heavy. You can see it's very kind of hard to stand him up. I'm not really sure how I could do this. Let me try posing him this way, but yeah, as you can see, it's very kind of hard to get him in a nice standing position. There we go. See, there we go. That actually works. But I normally just keep him like this. Now, like I said, he is a very top-heavy figure, and he does have quite a bit of weight and heft to him. I think I paid originally $8 for him, and he feels like weight-wise, he feels like an $8 toy. There's some toys where I pay a lot of money for, and they just don't have that weight or feel to it. I'm like, really? I paid that much for this thing, and it doesn't do too much? But anyways, I'm getting off topic. This has been Master Roshi. I mean, to me, if you're a fan of this Dragon Ball Z, and if you're a fan of this character, which I'm sure a lot of people are, this is a must guy to like really try to track down and find, just because, I mean, how often do you see him in this form? I mean, you always see him in his little tiny turtle hermit form with the Hawaiian shirt and the shell backpack. But just seeing him like this, like he's really ready to fight. I still think he's like one of the coolest DBZ figures that they had made, well, at the time. But anyways, this has been Master Roshi. Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen today, please feel free to like, subscribe, or leave a comment below in the comment section. Any advice for the show will be greatly appreciated. Who knows, something you suggest may appear on the show in the future.